Porter getting ready for Fred Schaefer, but Fred's got a little more business to take care of. First, Barefoot must defeat Bigfoot to make it into the finals against Gary Porter and the Carolina Crusher, and Jim Kramer hopes to have a whole lot to say about who's going to the championship matchup. It's Barefoot and Bigfoot. And an impressive victory for Fred Schaefer and the Barefoot Chevrolet. Here he is out of Pontoon Beach, Illinois, really dispatching Bigfoot fairly easily on this course in the Nassau Coliseum. Schaefer, the world champion, gets a victory over the original monster truck, the Bigfoot Ford. Here we have Bigfoot on the ISO. Jim Kramer seemed to hit things fine. Barefoot just got the best of him on this day in New York. So it's Barefoot and Carolina Crusher to determine the championship of the Nassau Coliseum in U.S. Hot Rod Association monster truck action. Crusher, a winner over Gravedigger, and Barefoot takes out Bigfoot. The finals coming up a little bit later, but next, one of the world's most daring stuntmen here on Super Trax. You're looking at Brian Carson, considered one of the world's premier daredevils and stuntmen. And here on Super Trax, you will see one of his most dangerous stunts, as he will take that car he's about to climb into, drive up a ramp, go through a pair of explosions, and then T-bone the car into a set of parked cars on the other end of the ramp. Brian Carson has been wrecking cars and pulling off stunts for a long, long time. As a matter of fact, he has destroyed over 1,850 vehicles in his stage jumps and crashes. That's a record mark for most cars wrecked in a stunt career. Carson, in the process, has fractured over 50 bones in his body. As he comes out now, normally his first shot will be just to look at the ramp. Indeed, he's on the brakes, and he's going to pull up just to take a look. There aren't too many bones in the old body that Carson hasn't broken, and he'd like to get out of this one unscathed. But it is one of the more dangerous crashes that Brian Carson performs anywhere in the world, and he has a record for going all over the country and all over the world and trying to go a little bit further and make it a little bit more dangerous every time. Certainly this stunt will rank up there with the greats. And what makes this one so tough, as you watch it, is that he'll go through two huge explosions and then T-bone the car into the parked cars at the other end. The crowd awaits the appearance of Brian Carson, and here he comes. Absolutely awesome stunt. The question is Brian okay? The car is raging inferno at this point, and Carson is coming out. He just finds a way to get out and will now just roll away from the fire as the crew will come over to see if Brian is okay. Man, oh man, what an incredible explosion. The force of the explosion actually caught the car on fire in midair. I think that is why he caught on fire. I don't think it was the impact of the wreck. I think it was the explosion. Let's watch again. You can see the car is already smoking. But he still gets enough momentum there through the first explosion. And indeed, that's what caught him on fire. The first explosion actually caught Carson's car on fire. And so by the time it settled back down, Brian, who obviously did not lose consciousness, had to find one way out. And he did. Let's watch it again. Man. Here it is from the end zone, if you will. What a fireball. And now you can see the car is completely engulfed in flames. The engine compartment is burning. Apparently the wheels have caught fire. And Carson just says, let me out of here. Another angle on Brian Carson soaring through the fire and landing the hard way at the other end, T-boning. Look at the impact at the end. Straight up and down, and then the car settles back down on its wheels. Carson able to get out before the fire gets inside the compartment. And now the only question is Brian okay? Because he certainly took a whale of a lick at the end of that stunt. The incredible Brian Carson has done it again. I guess that makes car number 1851, and he's okay. There he is. Brian waving to acknowledge the cheers of the crowd. And you know what's amazing? Is he just going to put on the suit, rack it up, and find another arena to try and do something even wilder in again? When you see Brian Carson coming in with the U.S. Hot Rod Association, ladies and gentlemen, get your tickets quick. Only Super Trax can pack this much excitement in 1 hour, because we still have to determine our monster truck champion from the Nassau Coliseum. And it will be two of the heavyweights in the sport, two of the best-known trucks in the world, two of the most talented drivers and most awesome machines. It's the defending world champion, Fred Schaefer, and the Barefoot Chevrolet from Pontoon Beach, Illinois. And the good old boy from Wadesboro, North Carolina, Gary Porter, and the Carolina Crusher Chevrolet. Only one walks out of New York as the champion of the Nassau Coliseum. Will it be the Crusher, or will it be Barefoot? We're just a moment from finding out. Earlier in the semifinals, Crusher had to put away the Gravedigger to get here. Barefoot had to knock off Bigfoot. Both were up to the challenge, but there's one more challenge to go, one more battle to be fought. The finals at Uniondale, New York, in the Nassau Coliseum. Fred Schaefer getting Barefoot stage. Now Gary Porter will bring the Carolina Crusher to the starting line. And once they're both there, we're going to get it on for all the marbles in New York. Gary Porter now rolls up to that start line. And we're about to see who can come out of here with the victory. It's the Carolina Crusher and Barefoot to determine the champion in New York. Here we go. I do not know who got the win. It's too close to call. Carolina Crusher and Barefoot cross the finish line together. The isolated replay. Fred Schaefer's Barefoot Chevrolet. Boy, he looked solid, smooth all the way through. But Gary Porter was equal to the challenge. Look at Porter. Again, a perfect launch off the ramp. Let's see. I believe we have a camera angle right at the finish. This is the tape the U.S. Hot Rod Association officials will look at to determine the winner. As they go flying through the air at the finish line, the U.S. Hot Rod officials are telling us the winner, the Barefoot Chevrolet, by an inch.
Another situation where it took a replay to determine it. It was that close.
I was really worried about it, Brett. That lane over there is a little bit soft, and I'm really surprised, to be honest with you.
I'll be honest with you. Throughout the season, we've seen a lot of come from behind in the air races. We've seen a lot of hole shots. This one looked as dead even as it could throughout the whole race. We'll have to look at it again. How did it feel inside the truck? What went through your mind?
Well, I tried to move over, and I know I was going to get too much air, but I tried to get out of everybody else's tracks because they had the ground tore up so bad, and that's why the truck got so much air, but I took a chance again that and spinning, and I think it paid off.
Sure did, because if it was a win by a foot, it was a win by an inch, no question about it.
Thank you very much, Brett.
This is what it's going to take to come back in that World Championship, too.
That's right, it is. Thank you, Brett.
Congratulations, guys.
Indeed, the difference was only an inch, and that's why he's the world champion. He found a way to come up with that extra inch. Fred Schaefer and the Barefoot Chevrolet winning it all at the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, New York. More action is coming at you next week here on Super Trax.
TV 20 Saturday afternoon.